Welcome everybody. We are now in the semifinals of the TQ Open. We're seeing lag, but okay. Semifinals of the TQ Open. Right now we do have ArminVB, who is a Terran, spawned in the bottom left, going up against VTSwu, who is also Terran, spawned in the top right. The map is iCCup match point. I'm TQ Xander, and Response, why don't you say hello?
Hey guys, this is Response. Just lost to ArminVB. Showed he's a very, very strong Terran player from Europe, apparently, from what people in the chat were saying. VTSwu, I guess he streams, kind of known player. So this should be a good semifinals match.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be really cool to see what these guys do. First thing that I want to note right off the bat is that VTSwu is running an SCV in the back of his base. He's going to try and start hiding some tech. Or even the supply depot. He might be trying to fake out a proxy against Armin. Which would be definitely an interesting choice from him. Because Armin may not be expecting this. Also, this actually might be a proxy from Swu, as he's sending out his SCV really early.
Yeah, that's a really early scout. I think it might just be a scout, but maybe not. We'll see here. Yeah, he's getting his barracks in his base, so he just wants to scout really early here. Interesting. Barracks timing almost exactly identical, with Swu being just a little bit ahead in his barracks and his refinery.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious as to why he put his supply depot so far back.
That gives you a good, it's always good to use your buildings to scout around the outskirts of your base for any proxies or anything. And also later in the game when he goes for medevac drops or Banshee harass or something, you'll see it with your buildings a lot of the times this way. So, I kind of like this, building your buildings out in the open like this. It should slow them down a little bit in theory because you're losing more mining time, but I think it's worth the little mining time you lose.
Okay, very, very good point. Something I do want to note, guys, for those of you that are just new to StarCraft 2 and haven't played broodwar, iCCup Matchpoint is a very interesting map, just in the way it handles its expansions. You can see in the main there are 9 mineral patches in both mains, and you can see in the natural that there is only 7. If you even look farther, you can see that there is a mineral-only third base that only has 6 mineral patches, and you can go into a corner for a different third if you want to, where there is also only 7 mineral patches. Very interesting little dynamic. It makes one basing stronger earlier on, and the 2 base is still exactly the same strength as your normal Blizzard maps, which is a very, very interesting aspect that I really, truly enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. And the big key in this map are going to be these 2 big middle areas connected from your third or your second natural with your mineral only, I should say, into that big area. That's a really key defending area because you can defend your 4th base from that, and you can also push from it really nicely to either these top and bottom bases, or and you also have the cliff advantage. So it's just a really key area to look forward to. And also these middle mineral bases, mineral with gas, I guess they're just normal expos, are really key in this map because of the fact that they're generally the last 2 bases taken. So if anybody tries to hide, hidden, expand to one of them earlier and can get an early advantage that way, that can be really huge. And it's probably going to be a battle for these 2 middle bases, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely in a macro game, that's really key pivotal points of how you control those bases. Especially because it's a TVT, you can easily just siege them up by having siege tanks behind the mineral lines, and it makes it very difficult for whichever one you do want to actually be able to take. It'll be so easily pressured.
Definitely true. So from Swu here, we're seeing this very fast starport getting a Viking out for scouting, obviously. ArminVB choosing to go Hellion pre-igniter and getting a medevac. So we're going to be seeing some pre-igniter medevac drops. So this building positioning for Swu will probably come into play here. He'll be able to scout this a little bit quicker just because of his buildings are scouting as far as possible to the back of his base as he possibly can. And this Viking should maybe be able to scout it, depends on how he uses it. But and there's a scan there, so does he see the medevac? I think he saw the medevac, yeah, so
he probably did.
Yeah, he had to have seen the medevac and the Hellion because he sees the bunker. So that really gives him a good idea of what's coming. So he should be pretty defended against this.
Yeah, he's also sending out his Vikings, probably trying to intercept the medevac and prevent him from being able to drop anything in the first place.
Yeah, he definitely saw it, moving all his Marines to the back of his base just in preparation for it. So, yeah, Swu looking good here early on, just going to be pretty defended against this.
Yeah, and Swu is on VT game. He's a very, very solid player, as well as ArminVB is, as we've seen his play prove to be pretty effective. Yeah,
very strong Terran player, I guess, from Europe. I guess 2,900 on the Europe rank or something. So
very nice.
Pretty high up there. So seems like a very competent player at least.
Yeah, and so we'll see how his TVT does fare against Swu. Interestingly enough, these guys are both identical in food counts, except just now as VTSwu just supply locks himself and then shoots up ahead by 2.
Yeah, I don't see this Hellion drop really doing anything. 2 tanks sieged up back here, a bunch of Marines back here. He's completely defended against this, and he's getting his expo up. So, definitely good build order here by Swu so far. Really prepared for this drop.
Yeah, but here we go. The siege tanks are now, oh, look at that, running away the SCVs before they take any hits at all. And free Hellions going to Swu right now.
Yeah, I don't really understand why he hasn't used that Viking. There he goes. Now he's attacking with the Viking.
Yeah.
To target that medevac. But, yeah, I mean, these Hellions did almost nothing for their cost. So that's really a good advantage for Swu at this point.
Yeah, you can see in the units lost tab, 550 resources lost for Armin versus the 200 of Swu. And so that's really, really going to look forward into Swu's favor. But Armin has a lot of... Both these guys have actually really good, healthy SCV saturation, which is not something that you see a lot of Terrans do. A lot of Terrans will actually cut back on SCV production and use the mules, and just continue to produce with having 25 SCVs per base. Something I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to get too oversaturated as Terran, or it makes your army too small. But looks like they'll probably get pretty good healthy SCV count in this game because this is a more macro-oriented map. Interesting push out from Swu here. Armin has no idea it's coming, and this could be really devastating if Swu can get sieged up before Armin can get his expo down, which it looks like he will be able to. It's going to leave Armin put Armin in a very, very difficult situation. Oh, and he's just pushing out now, losing a ton of Marines to those tanks. That was pretty poorly done by Armin there.
Yeah, and the Raven is out as well, so this Raven is actually going to be able to do a really good job of preventing any Vikings from hitting. You see, it already has thrown down a point defense drone. So really, this natural is really locked down. Armin's not going to be able to take it, and you can see that Swu is floating down. His orbital command is going to be able to take his natural expansion. So Swu is really going to be able to get a tight lead if Armin can't break out or do something to really pull himself back in economically soon.
Yeah, Armin playing really defensively, throwing down 2 turrets at the front of his base. Seems very, very nerved, I guess, from this early pressure by Swu. But he does have a lot of Vikings at this point, so I don't think this point defense drone is really going to matter, as there is only 1 Viking there.
Yeah, you can see that. Oh, the Viking actually takes a few hits as well. And there's the point defense drone actually gets nullified as well as the Raven.
Yeah, nice snipe of the Raven there, barely taking any damage from his Vikings.
Yeah.
Swu deciding that it's better just to back off now since he doesn't have that air advantage. A good choice by him. He got his expo up a lot earlier, did some nice early damage to those Marine counts, and now he just backs off. That's a really smart decision. But if we look at the units lost tab, Armin has evened it out now, so no advantage there. But we do have a slight income advantage right now for Swu, and Swu going to increase that by taking a 3rd command center right now.
Yeah, we can see though that Armin is actually now about to have his natural up, and that actually will help him a lot because Armin is ahead in the food count. Sniping that Raven and just that such high tech that Swu had is really serving to help him, because it's now really forcing Swu to kind of be sort of laid back. But it seems that Swu actually might want to push out with the forces that he has.
Yeah, the difference here is we do see 2 factories for Swu and 5 barracks, whereas for Armin he's going for just a 4 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport with the reactor style. So going to be seeing a lot more tanks from Swu, but we're going to see how that works out against probably heavy Marauder style of Armin.
Yeah, so the thing is, though, that will mean that the Marauders will be able to try and outposition, flank, snipe tanks, do various positional things, but if these Marauders make a mistake, they're going to take a ton of damage from these tanks that Suu's going to be able to mass up.
Yeah, I definitely think Swu probably making the better decision here in deciding to go double factory tank. Tanks, just from the looks of the map, you guys can see, tanks are very, very good on this map. There's lots of high ground locations. There's lots of places where you can siege up and defend areas very effectively with just siege tanks. So I think the double factory, getting a lot more tanks, is a really good decision here. This is an interesting third base by Swu here. We were talking about these side bases, the mineral only, and then the other fourth base that you can take. But he's actually choosing to go right for this top base. So we'll see how he defends it. He's got a lot of tanks there, so this should be pretty easily defended for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Armin can actually scout that, if he's going to try and use siege tanks to really prevent this base from mining. I'm also sure that if Armin played a lot of Brood War, he's probably expecting Swu to only have 2 bases right now, as the normal third or normal fourth that could be a third are not taken right now.
Yeah, for sure. But we do see Armin taking his third command center on the bottom of the base too, so it does look like he's just going to fly it down to the middle expo as well. So both players choosing to take the middle expos rather than these bottom expos first. Maybe they just feel like those are a little easier to defend. I'm not sure. I guess they kind of are, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, if they surround it with turrets, they might be able to prevent drops from happening, but it's still less area to move, maybe less easy for double pronged attacks to really be used just against them. I guess I don't really know. Like, I'm kind of confused by this expansion timing and placement as well.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward, but I guess they feel comfortable with it. Armin taking an advancement here, going to siege up on this high ground area, right in the middle of the map here. I don't know if this is the best idea for him, losing all of his Vikings. Not really a good choice there at all.
And losing the medevac too.
Yeah, I think he was a little surprised at how many Vikings Swu had.
Yeah, and instead of retreating, it actually now gives Swu the food count advantage. But all of these all these tanks are sieged up in a really good spot.
Yeah, these tanks are really doing a lot of damage to these Marines. This is kind of a really, really intense situation here for both players. Swu trying to just defend this area while Armin's trying to push up here. Lots of turrets going down for Armin. He does have... Wait. No, he doesn't. Never mind.
Oh, okay. But it does seem that actually these turrets are serving to spot instead of Vikings.
Wow, this is really interesting. Armin building 4 barracks in the direct middle of the map.
Wow.
And a sensor tower. So I guess he feels like this is a really, really strong strategic location. Plus taking his top left base as well. Doesn't have anything mining at his third base at all yet, whereas Swu's had both those gases going for a pretty substantial amount of time, I'd have to say. So definitely, the longer Armin waits here, the more in favor of Swu this is going to be for sure.
Yeah, and we can see that actually one of those buildings that was built was actually a starport. So he's having a starport with a reactor in the very middle of the field for some reason.
Yeah, and then he cancels 2 of the barracks. I don't really understand what's happening.
I don't think Armin does either. I think that's why he just started flip-flopping and canceling the building.
Yeah, very odd.
Alright, weird.
Wow, if we look at the income tab right now, Swu is almost doubling Armin's income right now. So,
wow.
Really, really impressive here. I think Armin went for an SCV transfer, and that's probably